don't we get started, Keith?
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight's agenda, we have the consideration of a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of an equipment lease/purchase agreement with West Banco for a Dodge 5500 with an aerial lift. This is our bucket truck that we use for our traffic signal technician. It will replace a 13-year-old vehicle. We have a consideration of a resolution supporting the principles and policies of the police department regarding cooperation with other governmental agencies, including the federal government. And we have the consideration to purchase a new fire department staff vehicle. That is it.
Excellent, thank you very much. All right, we'll review the 2026 road program. If Gateway folks wouldn't mind coming up.
Matt Bagley and Dan Weiser.
And Rudy.
All right.
How can I forget Rudy?
Triumvirate.
Alrighty, good evening. Okay, good evening. As he said, Matt Bagley with Gateway Engineers here with Dan and Rudy. We wanted to go over this year's recommended road programs, both reconstruction and mill and overlay programs for consideration for bid and development of specifications. That being said, just as a reminder, I wanted to this slide was provided a month ago or so when we gave kind of an overall condition of the current streets. This is a screen capture of Street Saver, which is a program that we use for infrastructure management. It shows currently that our current over here on the right, that our current PCI, which is the fancy way of saying pavement condition index, it's like a rating system of 0 to 100. Currently we're at a 78. On the left here, it's showing that we've been pretty consistent around that 78 number. And it gives some other statistics that we'll go into later through this presentation. That being said, one thing that I'd be remiss if I didn't mention was that over the last 7 years, utility companies, through the street opening permits that Rudy administers, they've paved 18.6 miles of roads in the municipality. That essentially equates to 22% of the roadways have been paved by utilities. And then there's another 2.9 down in this bottom right-hand corner. There's another 2.9 miles that's on the books that we anticipate being paved by utility companies coming up. So we try and coordinate our work around their work, and we'll touch on that here through the presentation. One thing to mention, though, is holding that line of 78 that we've been holding over the years. A lot of that is also due to the fact that the utility companies have also been paving 22% of the roadways.
Matt, will you remind the commission what our target number is for PCI?
So there's an ordinance in place that requires a minimum of 60, I believe. But so that's the low end that we're held to with the ordinance. That being said, so just some overall statistics before we get into the detail. So the base bid that we're recommending for reconstruction is 53. It has a PCI rating of 53.6, and the alternates are 36.2. That may seem odd, and then same with the maintenance at 70.4 and 54.5. One thing to highlight there is when we do the analysis of roads for consideration each given year, we do an analysis that captures, we don't look at all 88 miles of road, we look at the nearest 3 years, and then we evaluate those roads and see which ones should be considered. We also take into consideration the Public Works patching list, and the other thing that is worth mentioning, the last inspection that was completed on the roads was back in 2021, so it's 5 years old. So we do notice over time that the deviation from the PCI to actual conditions. It does vary a little bit, so I could assure you that once we get the Violytics data in, that we were delayed in getting it this year with all the snow and everything else, and trying to maintain the schedule that we need to get the road program out to bid, that once we get the Violytics data in, I can pretty much assure you, and you'll see from the pictures later on, that the street maintenance numbers really aren't 70. They would be lower if we did a new inspection on those streets. It's just, but that's the data that we have right now. So that being said, jumping into the actual reconstruction program that we have here, these are the considerations that we take in, that we look at each given year. As I mentioned, we look at 2 to 3 years of what the budget is saying, and then we evaluate those years for the worst streets. We do a field review, we look at flooding issues, icing issues, we consult with Public Works on their problem areas, utility coordination, which we have a couple of those streets that I'll highlight this year, continuation of previous programs where we started a street and now we're just continuing along, we have some of those, and then the length of street being impacted. What I mean by that is, we've said before that on the reconstruction streets, it is an inconvenience to folks that they have to walk because it is a full removal of the street and replacement. So we try and limit the amount that people have to walk to their homes and carry groceries and whatever else. So we don't want to do a 2,000-foot long reconstruction road because that adds an inconvenience that is more than what we feel is good for the folks. That being said, the streets that we have in the base bid are Cook Lane, Furwood Drive, everything down to the Washington Road parallel parking. That's what we're considering as our base bid. Then Austin on down, we're considering as alternate bid streets. One thing to note, and well, I'll get that here in a second, but so we have half a mile of base bid streets, half a mile of alternate bid streets. One of the other things to note is that when we get to the budgeting later on, we're going to be about 600,000 or so estimated wise under budget with the base bid streets. So we anticipate we are going to be doing some of those alternates, 2, maybe 3 of those alternate bids. So we want to give some flexibility to pick and choose what alternates we add. So back to that slide earlier where I gave the average of the base bid streets, if we add in 2 or 3 of these alternates, that's going to bring that average down as well. So it's going to be more in line. That being said, jumping into Cook Lane. Cook Lane, we're not planning on a full reconstruction of Cook Lane. You may or may not know that the municipal line runs right down the middle of Cook Lane. So half is owned by Mount Lebanon and half is owned by Castle Shannon. The utility company, what utility was it? Water
Columbia Gas.
Columbia.
They replaced half of it, yeah, the Castle Shannon side, unfortunately.
So the whole Castle Shan side is new going down, but there are a couple, as you come off of Castle Shan Boulevard, there's a couple slabs that are in real poor condition. Right there is one of them. This is just from a street view. So this is not proposed as a full reconstruction of the road. We're going to replace 2 or 3 slabs on this street. It's best in the reconstruction contract because we have all of those excavation items, concrete items, and things like that. So this, although it's in the reconstruction contract, we're not proposing a full reconstruction of Cook Lane. It is going to be multiple slabs. And this is one that we're working kind of in unison with what the utility company had completed.
We've been patching that for a couple of years just to keep it safe, so it's time to, there's some settlement, some drainage issues underneath of that concrete, and as Matt said, we're kind of locked into concrete now because the other half was done in concrete by the utilities, so, which is fine. I mean, concrete is fine as well, so.
I thought they did asphalt.
No,
The lower end
bottom
is
section
asphalt.
from the tracks down to Mount Lebanon Boulevard is asphalt, they overlaid all that.
Okay.
But from like the entrance to the Rite
Rite
Aid
Aid. Oh.
up is all concrete.
Okay.
So Furwood Drive is the next road. This is one that we've been, as you can see, portions of Furwood have been done in 2017, 2020, and 2024. This is picking up on the next section. heading down toward Raleigh. Hoodridge Lane, this is an alley that comes off of Mount Lebanon Boulevard, right as you come off of Washington Road and make the turn onto Mount Lebanon Boulevard. It's on the right-hand side. It just kind of
Right before Roycroft, yeah.
right before Roycroft.
This is actually owned and fee by the municipality. It's in conjunction with the municipality, the school district, and the Allegheny County. So we actually own, that's a parcel that you see outlined in blue, or shaded in blue, I should say. So that's actually a parcel.
Is Mount Lebanon Boulevard, county road?
No, it's a state road.
State road?
Yeah,
Okay, so we can't do anything to it.
correct.
Wait, so you're saying Hoodridge Lane, that blue, what you might think of as a road is actually
A parcel that's owned by the by the municipality, right?
Interesting, okay.
And there's there's like about 5 houses that back that lane that used it. And as you can see, it's in pretty poor condition. We are proposing, instead of concrete curbs on this road, we would be proposing bituminous wedge curbs there, just to save a little bit of cost.
Asphalt.
It's just the asphalt curb.
How will you know you're in Mount Lebanon?
All right, well, let me ask though,
Put aside.
what is our standard and what is our,
The
what do our
standard,
policies say we have to do on public rights of way?
This is a parcel.
The standard curb is an 18-inch full-depth concrete.
concrete.
Roll curb or straight curb or curb and gutter.
So your argument is that this is not a right of way?
I didn't really make an argument, but.
I'm, look,
Ultimately, if the commission would like concrete roll curb, we could put concrete roll curb here. There's nothing that precludes it. We were just
We'll have
looking at.
pricing for it.
We'll have pricing for
I
it.
just want to know why we aren't doing it if that's our policy.
There's gonna be a lot lower traffic volumes on it. You're, like Matt said, there's only 5 houses up there, so.
There's currently kind of no curb on it, so we were gonna add the wedge.
It doesn't meet our
wedge curb.
standard width either, does it?
No, it's only like 10, 11 feet
Yeah,
wide.
it doesn't
so-
meet our standards now. I was gonna say, it doesn't sound like it meets any standard.
Right.
No.
I mean, it's not wide enough, it's probably not constructed, it's.
The concrete curb does neck that within a little bit, because if you do 2 18-inch curbs
No,
versus one wedge curb.
I get it, I just, again, we have enough issues with rights of way and complexity. I just want to make sure that, right, we have reasonable justification for not conforming to our own policies around surfaces that we maintain in our legal responsibility. So if there's a way around it that makes sense and is justifiable, great, that's fine. I agree, it's not wide enough. And it's not, to your point, Rudy, maybe it's not even a right of way, it's a parcel. I don't know. Clearly, we wouldn't have accepted it as a right of way at any point in time.
It doesn't meet the,
But it does have an easement.
it's a parcel, yeah.
And technically, it's a piece of property. It's a
We
real,
could
it's
just
real.
close it. We can plant trees on it.
I think you have to give access, yeah.
That's
So
their-
it is an easement.
That's their only access.
So it has an easement.
No, we own it. If we try to close it, they can get an easement. Because they're landlocked otherwise. It's.
This
I
house is
just say we're
27. Yeah.
we're treating it consistent with what we've done on other, I'll call rear parcel. I want to call it an alley, but
I mean, this is pretty
Anything-
unique
Yeah.
to the municipality. We don't have many
There's not many
situations.
of
I
these.
can't even think of a similar situation.
No, this was new to me.
Did we do Arlen Way?
I'm sorry?
Did we do Arlen Way that way?
Arlen Way is,
I think
yeah,
we did
you're
that.
right. We did Arlen Way over between Macaulay and,
I forget the other street that connects, but I think Arlen Way, we did the
Right.
wedge curb there.
yeah, we did that, what, about 10 years ago or so?
We
Yeah.
usually try and pick off one alley every every couple of years, so I guess an alley, however we want to distinguish it, but.
Thank you for humoring my questions.
Peyton Drive, this is a road that we had bid last year as an alternate bid. So we're looking to bring it back onto the program and use it as a base bid this year. Same with Pembroke Road was an alternate last year that we're looking to add as a base bid this year. Ruth Street was on the program also as an alternate last year. We're looking to do some drainage improvements. Obviously, this is right next to the school, so this would have to be done when school is out of session. Similar to when we did Pin Oak last year. We did Pin Oak right around the school last year, and Old Hickory the year before. So we've been taking, this neighborhood is, we've had streets kind of year after year.
This one's needed a long time.
Yeah.
Now on the alternate bid side, Austin Avenue is right off of Bower Hill Road, between Bower Hill and Terrace View. We have this as an alternate. We did bid this as an alternate in 2025 as well. Glades, this was one that was, that the program initially identified as a new one for this year, and then it was also, I think, on your patching,
Yes.
on Rudy's patching list.
Actually, I'm sorry, can we go back to Austin? The mobility board has had residents come forward with concerns about the traffic flow on Austin. If we are resurfacing this, or if we are reconstructing, even more to the point of, is this a candidate for consideration for how we reinstall this to reduce speeds and traffic flows, essentially circumventing the light at the hospital? I'm not saying you have to answer that now, but, but don't just go reconstruct this without a discussion.
And given that situation, this may be one that we take bids on, and then pending direction from the mobility board, it may be one that we don't act on this year as far as a actual, until we have a recommendation from the mobility board, but I'll take a note of that.
Thank you. I mean, if the commission votes yes on it, I mean, it can move forward, but.
It's an alternate, so we'll
Yeah.
see where we land on in terms of, it may behoove us to do some additional planning before we actually move forward, especially on a reconstruction.
Right.
We mentioned Glades. Ordale, this is, you can kind of see in this picture, like the background was the section we did last year. So this is a continuation of the program that we worked on last year. Actually, that map is incorrect. That's the piece we did last year.
Right.
We're doing from Cherokee up towards Standish.
Sorry.
Yeah. We're not doing this section. Sorry, I had that.
This is last
Yeah,
year's.
that map was.
Congratulations, you're efficient. You got it done already.
Yeah, it's already done.
And it's paid
Congrats.
for.
Yeah.
Quest End, this is the section between Richland and Sunset. Alternate. Terrace, this is from Woodland working up to house number 1390. The whole section of Terrace was is recommended in the future, but it's such a long street that we were thinking break this up into multiple sections. So then, as a summary on the budget side of things, the streets that I have as base bids, we're at 1.62 million. Our budget is 2.27 plus the stormwater supplement for any stormwater drainage improvements. And we also have down in the, if you see in the notes down here, it's kind of small. There is another project that we'll touch on here in a second, but I just wanted to highlight the budget. There is another $270,000 from Zamias that for the parking stalls on Washington Road that we're going to be doing as part of the reconstruction, because once again, curb and sidewalk and paving is all part of that reconstruction number. So as you can see, we're about $600,000 under budget. So we do have room on the alternate bid side of the streets. We can pick maybe 1, 2, or 3 of these alternate bids and be able to get those into the program once we get the budget, or once we get the numbers in, potentially.
Do we put the ones that have the lowest PSI
unnecessarily. It depends on the numbers that we get.
Look at the numbers. We also try to hold back a little bit on reconstruction for base repairs,
Yeah.
additional base repairs, so.
We try and give some cheaper streets, some middle-of-the-road streets, and more expensive on the alternates. So that way, it's like a puzzle at the end of the day. You're trying to fit all within the budget, so that way we have a smattering of other streets here that we can kind of work toward that budget. And then, as I mentioned, the Washington Road parking, there's gonna be 18 additional parking stalls and parking spaces installed between Bower Hill and Oak Way. There is $270,000 budgeted. Now, that budget does account for utility work that also needs to take place with Duquesne Light, because they're moving the power poles from our side to the other side of the road. There is already power poles on the other side of the road, so they're gonna move the power lines to the other side of the road, so that way it doesn't impact those stalls. I did meet with Duquesne Light back in December. The design has been finalized. It's going through final approval. We should be getting a number within a week or two of what their number is for that. Then really, at that point, once we get that number, if it's agreeable, we pay that invoice, and then they get it on their schedule to move the poles.
If we can move the poles on, it really makes the project a lot easier for everybody.
All right,
And this is the plan that was developed by Zemise as part of their project. So the blue, I think it is where the sidewalk's gonna be, and then the yellow, is that?
Matt's
I'm colorblind.
Okay, I was gonna say, it's either you or I have become colorblind.
I'm colorblind, so I thought it was blue and yellow, but I'm wrong.
The pink is the sidewalk,
Or the pink.
the green is the parking spaces, and then where the parking spaces currently are, that becomes a travel lane. So we have 2 lanes going through there, plus a parking lane, plus a sidewalk.
Correct.
So it really kind of fixes up that whole intersection, along with the widening that was done there to get an extra lane there. So it really, that's a big improvement that's been promised for a long, long time. Phil was able to get the money out of it.
That's by the empty parcel, right? That's in
Yes, it's right in front of the empty
And
parcel.
it also takes a burden away from that parcel, because they'll have parking there that they can take credit for when it's ever developed. Someday somebody will develop it.
So, it looks like there are bump outs on either end.
There's from Bower Hill Road coming around, there's just a radius return here, just before you get into the parking stalls. And then there's a small bump here in the middle as well, and then a radius return on the
I think that
back
was
side.
designed around their building configuration. We'll fill that all in.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, my interest is more extending I don't want to say the design, but the structural intent that's in the uptown corridor in terms of defining spaces, in terms of, right, having the bump outs for crosswalks and potentially planters. I mean, that is the place where uptown starts for the vast majority of people. So do we want to think about extending at least some of the design intent? If not, like with all the accoutrements of uptown, at least structurally in terms of how it's, laid out, so that we are getting, that continuity, a feel from that point, and also, again, creating more protected parking spaces as opposed to, that straight line. I personally hate it when all of a sudden parking spaces show up and it's not protected by any barriers from the oncoming traffic. So again, I don't, and I know that's more expensive than $275,000, I get it, but
Well, I think there's some of that protection in that design there, but there could be we can look at that.
Yeah, we can, absolutely.
I mean,
We can break it up with another couple of bump outs there. There's some room to manipulate that a little bit, get some street trees in there.
Right,
Yeah,
and
I know what
for me, I would rather spend the money here doing even more.
Right.
Rather than going with some
Sure.
alternates that are, if we have capacity this year, this is a highly visible place. We are wanting investment in that property. We can't force that, but we can
Right.
improve this.
Yeah, we can make it more attractive for the private sector. And I also would I'd comment that, there's our only priority here shouldn't be moving traffic. Like, it's an area where a lot of people walk as well.
Right. Yeah, so how do we, again, make that as attractive an experience in the limited space? Same conversation we had with, Vibrant Uptown, right? How do we work with the limited space we have to activate that as much as possible and make it attractive? And again, stage it as that entry into Uptown, which we all agree it is. We just haven't had the opportunity to see it happen.
Yeah. Okay.
It is not the most inviting entry to the community, quite the opposite. Great.
On the street maintenance, I'll go, kind of go through these pretty quickly. The streets from Valley Park up are what we're considering on the base bid. Bower Alley down, we're considering on the alternate bid. We have about a mile in the base bid, 3/4 of a mile in the alternate bid. As you recall, and we'll touch on here briefly, is the Scrubgrass Road does have a separate funding for the traffic calming associated with it. I'll kind of run through these. We did focus on kind of the busier streets and the ones around school in the base bid. So Academy, just right down the road here, Beverly. We are going to be taking advantage of work that the utility companies are doing at the intersection of Beverly, North Meadowcroft currently. So we're going to be building off, they're coming up Beverly with work and up the first block of North Meadowcroft. So we're going to be kind of tying into both sections of that from Beverly from North Meadowcroft to Ralston. Broadmoor in front of the school. Scrubgrass, this is the one that has the traffic calming involved. So essentially we're going to be taking the one lane and making it a parking lane, making the lanes smaller or narrower. And then there's going to be a designated pedestrian area where down near the stairs that go up to Old Hickory, which we'll show here. This is that here. So the yellow, I think, is the existing sidewalk.
Yeah, you got it.
And we're going to be pink. There's a section between the sidewalks where there isn't a sidewalk, so we're creating a walking area. These are the steps coming down from Old Hickory here. So there's gonna be a crosswalk, which actually that's already in place.
It'll get milled off.
But we're gonna be doing a dedicated,
Yes.
there'll be a dedicated pedestrian walking area in the road area, is this pink area, which connects, that way it'll connect to the two sidewalks.
Right.
And then there'll be, these little dots here are poles that'll be
It's those delineators.
the delineators that are
The
anchored to
white
the
ones.
ground with they stick up with like 2 feet or so with the
Yeah.
reflectors on them. So that way it kind of quarantines that area off.
The residents are really, property owners, were really excited about this. This is what they were very supportive of.
It'll be good to get done.
They were hoping we were gonna do it this last year, but, because this.
The paving was in
the
bad
paving-
shape.
Paving needed to happen.
So we're
So we
gonna,
kind of need to get going on time.
okay, yeah, so
You stop talking.
just highlight down through here, so once again, North Meadowcross, Sleepy Hollow. The budget, as just highlighting here, the budget, we're at 462, so we're about 90,000 under with what I consider the base bid streets. So once again, there's gonna be a number of alternates at the bottom down here where we can pick and choose what we want to incorporate to stay within the overall budget. One thing I wanted to leave you with though, with the oil index. So as you can see here, the 2023, 4, 25, 26, so it has been going down, but as we all know right now,
The other way.
it's gonna be going the other way. So we are required under the liquid fuels requirement, because we get paid, some of our funding is through PennDOT, that if the liquid fuels index fluctuates by more than 10% from the time of bid to the time of work being completed, we do have to pay that differential. Now, it isn't a dollar for dollar because the percent of oil in asphalt is like 5%. So it's a percentage, but just to put that on everyone's
We'll keep that
radar.
in mind as we recommend to the
Yes.
commission. We'll be back to you with the bids for all of this, and make a recommendation. So we're just asking tonight, we're gonna put this out to bid and bring it back to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, gentlemen. We don't have time for boards and authority update, and we will reconvene in commission chambers.
What's up, brother?